Oh my word. This live streaming is not for the faint-hearted today. So poor Katya restarted 3 times and her stream was frozen a lot. Yep, I'm okay. I'm back. Can you hear me? We're gonna start gluing. Hello again, welcome back. Glad you're finding me. Oh, I'm sorry, but it looks like this is the way of the YouTube hop these days. Let's see if I can get this done in only 2. Poor Katya had quite a few starts. Okay, I've got 22 people back. You can hear me, we can see me, I'm moving. Sorry when you restarted. Yeah, it froze for me, which means it's frozen for everybody. Okay, right, we carry on. Put the mouse on one side. Okay, so I had got as far as I've now put the aging cream on everything. In fact, I've decided his face needs a little bit more dirt over there. And I might go with some of this copper because I think the gold is just all a little bit boring. Let's just see what some of this copper looks like. Oh, that looks nice. I like that. So I'm going to add a little bit of the copper in places, the copper patina. And again, I'm going to add it more on one side than the other, just so he has a very obvious dark side. Welcome to the dark side, like Lord Vader. Yeah, so I'm going to make this side his shadow side, and I like the richness of this copper that it's giving it. And I'm going to bring a little bit up here as well and work it across just over the halfway mark. And on the back of his helmet, I didn't do too much detailing on the back of his helmet because he's probably gonna sit, well, who knows. I want to get a one of those cloches or domes for him. The one I have from IKEA is too short. He's a particularly tall man, so right, I rather like how that is looking. So that looks a little bit more worn and interesting to me. And we definitely need some more dark under there. Okay. All right. I'm going to put a little bit of copper now on his boot laces just to make them stand out from his shoes a little bit more. Right, it's time to dress him and get him sorted. Okay, so we want Umbra's lid back on there, gold lid back on there, copper lid back on there. The traditional push back and clear, you know, the push back and clear your desk. Let's make space. Right, make space. I need wet wipes for these very dirty fingers. Let's just see. Not making everything in my desk dirty. Olga can't be responsible for anything. What are you saying? The fact Belinda's Sony actually named, yeah, my son is named Luke because oh, Olga, yes. So for those of you who watch Star Wars, we were struggling for a name for my son when I was pregnant with him 15 years ago, and my husband had an accident siphoning water out of a drain 25 years ago, and he has a trachea because he had caustic soda in the drain when he decided to siphon the water out, so it burnt his throat. So he has a permanent trachea and he sounds like Darth Vader. So we were telling this story at a friend's 40th, and when we were saying we don't have any boys' names, somebody said, well, then you must call him Luke, because Luke Skywalker is Darth Vader's son. So yes, Karen, she's very good at ideas. Execution on, yes, especially where technology is involved, can be a little dodgy. Okay, so we got to dress him before we can put on his things on, and this fat part is his front, so he needs to, this is like going back to your childhood days and dressing your dollies. So I need to get his legs in his suit. Yeah, so my son is called Luke, and yeah, we call him Skywalker for fun. And in South Africa, when we lived there, there were a lot of boys called Luke in his grade, and it was obviously just a popular name at the time. And so it was sometimes quite difficult to get his attention when he was on the sports field, or yeah, so instead of shouting Luke, he would just ignore me, because I could have been called, you know, 100 other Lukes. I would shout Skywalker, and yeah, so that's his nickname, and he uses it quite a lot. He uses it for all sorts of things. Okay, right, so here we have our little jumpsuit on our little man, and I will stitch this closed by hand later. So it's like making a little army. He looks like a little army guy at this stage. But we need to get his boots on. And I'm going to use the glue that I used for my hat. It's household glue. It's for putting cornices on and so on. Cornice adhesive, I think it is in English. So I'm going to squeeze a generous blob of glue into his boot. And then I'm going to squeeze another generous blob of glue into that boot. And do the same in this hand. And in that hand, you could use gel medium, the Finnabair gel medium, the gloss Stamperia medium will be fine. I'm going to start off with getting his boots on. Well, no, I'm going to leave his boots there for a minute. I'm going to start with his hands, because he needs, we need to just force them on there, like so. Let's just make sure, where's his elbow? I need to make sure that his hand faces the right way. This is his front, okay? Yeah, we don't want him with backwards hands. Hang on. I've got his hands wrong. Don't know my left from my right. Poor man. He could have been permanently disfigured. That looks better. So if I put my hands out, they should look like that. There we go. That's better. And yeah, Olga was saying she's going to have left and right tattooed on her arm. Okay, so now we have, where's his elbow? There's his elbow. His arms face the right way. Yay. Okay, and now we need a little bit of leather. So I've got these leather offcuts that I have bought, and I'm going to make him a little cuff to hide the raw edges, because I am not fiddling around. It's bad enough that I actually sewed him an outfit. I am not. Yes, thankfully, and this glue takes a little while to dry, so I would have had a little bit of time to fix that. Epic mistake, nearly. I'm just looking on my desk for my little purple strings that should stick out from stuff. Here they are, my favorite scissors. Okay, so I'm going to cut that straight. I've just cut a strip off that leather, and now I'm going to just work out how wide it needs to be. So I need 2 pieces about so big. so that these look a bit more like gloves as well. So I can wrap it around and glue that. Okay, it's a little bit long, so I'll trim it off a bit. And I need a second piece for the other hand. And it's just easier to glue these on and sort this out before I go into the feet. And the final thing will be the head, because that's the heaviest and it's liable to fall off. Yes, I have very long purple string ribbon, and these ones have red. All of my scissors have something stuck on them, because especially this tiny pair, it goes AWOL so quickly underneath something that I have put on top of it. And I'm using the B6000 glue to glue this, and I'm just putting some everywhere, and I'm going to put the join at the back. And he's so polite and holds his hand in place while I glue his cuff in place. There we go. And then I will do this one. Yeah, it's my... Also, when I was teaching, I would be able to see my scissors on the table, you know, with everybody else's scissors also on the table, because chances are we all had the same scissors 9 times out of 10. Okay, so I'm going to pop that around the back, move this up a bit. Oh, he's so polite. He's such a nice model. He just stays put. Yeah, well, I live in a Bermuda Triangle of my own creation, because I'm always losing something that I have just had in my hands. Okay, so now he's got his gloves in place. We will shove his trousers up a little bit, and let's make sure that we have our boots the right way. So we have our left and our right, and we shove those on, and there we go. And then what I like to do is just take, I'm going to pop this glue out the way on the floor. I'm just going to poke his trousers into his boots. See, it's just like being a grown-up kid. It's like dressing dolls. I'm the eternal Peter Pan. I never want to grow up. Okay, let's poke that side in. It's fun being the eternal Peter Pan. Nobody expects you to be the grown-up. Nobody expects you to be responsible. If you are known as the eternal Peter Pan. Right, so let's just make sure that his boots are well stuffed. There we go. Okie dokie. And let's just make sure that everything is facing where it should. Where are his knees? There we go. So those are straight. Squish them on nice and tight. So I'm just compressing him like this. Hers is B. You have E. Yes, they are very similar. I had the E7000. This is just all I could get hold of. I call it jewelry glue, and it works really, really well. Okay, so now I just need to make sure that his suit is done up as neatly as possible, because as I said, I will attach it later, but I need to just do that and there, and then I'm going to give him a generous blob of glue. I bought that in South Africa, to be honest, and it's come all the way with me. I have seen stuff online, so I'm giving a generous blob of glue in the front over here, and I'm going to give another generous blob of glue underneath his suit over there to hold that in place. So I'm just going to go squish, squash, use what's popped out and squash that there. And I was going to say I've probably messed on my desk, and then I'll be the first person to put my character in the mess. So let's just give him, as I said, a generous blob of glue because the helmet needs to stick. So I'm going to glue the back as well. And pop him on. So let's just get that on there like that and give that a good old squish. Okie dokie. Right. So there we go. Now he has his helmet on, and of course that's going to take a little while to dry. And while that dries, I'm going to make him a belt. So I have got somewhere on my desk, yes, in there. This was a buckle thing that came off an elastic that was holding, I think it was goggles. You put it, oh dear, penny. That could be quite scary for most people. Okie dokie. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't subscribe already, and pop a thumbs up, please. We're going to give him a waistband, a little belt that normally they put all their weights onto. Let's just see how long it needs to be. I don't want it too tight because the doll underneath here is very skinny. Okay, so we'll probably have the belt about so long. And I'm going to cut it at a jaunty angle. And let's just see if this fits through. No, it's slightly too wide. So I'm just going to have to trim this. Let's pop that on the floor again. Okay, and I'm better trimming with a craft knife. So I'm just going to grab my cutting mat and my craft knife and my ruler, which I apparently have actually put away. Good grief. Okay. Let's just see how big the buckle needs to be. So it needs to be quite a chunk off. So I'm going to just cut a strip off like that. That's too long. There we go. Pop that flat on the floor. Okay, so now I need to just run this around there like that. And now I need my punch, which of course I forgot to take out. Where's my chopper? So I'm going to use I've got this great big chomper. And I'm going to just put a hole in here. Just make sure, no, that's the big side. I want the small side because I want a hole right through both. There we go. And I'm going to grab a brad. So somewhere in my chaos, I have a brad. There we go. And flatten its legs. There we go. So now I have a little belt buckle, but it's not gold like everything else. So I want my Sarantica. And I'm just going to make that gold. Because the best paintbrush, of course, is your finger. Right. Oh yes, I think all of us had given our dolls a haircut. He doesn't have hair to trim. Okay, so let's just make sure I don't have too much excess gold on there. Perfect. And let's give him his buckle. Right, and we go through there and under there. As I said, I don't want it too tight because their suits were quite bulky, and so I'm going to pull that out. There we go, and pull his suit out a bit. And there we have our diver. And I even have 10 minutes to spare. Olga, do you need time? I think you need time. Can I donate some time to you? Hey, Anya. Right. And he can even stand by himself. Not that you will see the top of him, but if I get his center of gravity right, he can even stand. There we go. And you can do all sorts of poses. So I'm going to do it sideways. So you can have running man. So that would be, no, that would be forward. And that one would be back. So you could even give them poses. This, of course, is still wet, so it's quite soft. So you can pose your guy and have him doing different things. Of course, if you want him doing crazy things like this, you need to put him back on your stand, which is quite easy. You just poke it between the stitching over there. But yeah, my guy is done. My deep sea diver, steampunk style. Okay, Olga, are you ready? You still won't make it in an hour. I think you should go live, Olga, because I'm done. My guy is done. My deep sea diver is done. So please give thumbs up and subscribe and hop over to Olga's. It's unfortunately not below this video because this is part 2. Thanks, Christiana. Get him an oxygen tank. They used to, no, he has a hose that is connected over there. That's how they used to breathe. So that's what that is. They used to have a hose. He doesn't need oxygen tanks. Yeah, there was a lot of prep work, Cindy, that I did. Of course, the 3D printing, because this takes about 2 hours to print. His boots take a little while to print as well. So, yeah. There's my glue loose. Okay, that I'm just going to hold him like the boy with a finger in the dike and make sure that his head doesn't fall off. He's going to become Headless Nick again. I think we'll just call him Nick. Okay, guys, hop on over to Olga. Can someone put thanks, Karen, for putting Olga's link in? Olga's put her link in. Okay, on your marks, get set, go, Olga. I'm giving you an extra 8 minutes, 7 minutes, and counting. We'll see you guys over at Olga. She's got the most incredible seahorse that she has been working on all week. I'm dying to see what she's going to create. So we'll see you all over at Olga's place. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for popping by.